Hello, my book people, my best friends out there, I think. Welcome to my June and May wrap-up, or May and June wrap-up. I didn't get to do a wrap-up in May because my daughter had a major surgery and life was busy. So I'm gonna do a May and June wrap-up instead. I have read or listened to 9 books in total, and I am in the middle of 3 books, so that is a little bit crazy. Not me reading 9 books, but me being in the middle of 3 books. Okay. I don't do that very often. Usually I do listen to an audiobook and then I'm reading a physical book. So that's 2 books, not 3 books. I stopped talking. Anyways, I got through one historical fiction, a literary fiction, and then a whole lot of romance books and some romantasy. So yeah, let's just go over them. And I'm gonna do this in genres this time. Sometimes I'm doing it from the worst to the best, but it's gonna be genres this time. How are you surviving the heat wave? All of my European followers, I don't know if I have any from Europe, I guess so. I'm from Denmark, so I guess I am lucky because we are up in the north. But yesterday we had 33 degrees Celsius where I'm living, and some places in Denmark they had 37 degrees Celsius. And I was like, okay. This is not supposed to happen in Denmark. Like 25 degrees Celsius, that should be the highest. Not over 30. I don't know what it is in other measures. So I just feel like everyone is going around being like, thunder. Thunder. I don't know. Have you seen the Netflix Cowboy Dallas what are they called? Cowboy Dallas cheerleaders thing. I have that song stuck in my head, and it would be really nice with some thunder. If I'm sweating a lot in this video, and I will, I just wanted to say sorry beforehand. I have not a lot of makeup on as well. And I have a little fan that's, what do you call it? I hope that it won't make too much background noise, but that's how it is, because otherwise I will not be able to do this video. So I look awful, and let's just start with this video. The first book, like I said, it is a historical fiction, and I tried my first Kristin Hannah book. I have wanted to try a Kristin Hannah book for so long, and I was really going back and forth with which book that I should try, but I ended up with The Nightingale, because I think this is the most read book from her most popular book. It is about the Second World War, so if you are not into that, then I would not read this book. Kristin Hannah is really known for her books being a little bit heavy and people are crying and stuff like that. So that's why I was a little bit hesitant trying to read a Kristin Hannah book, because I was like, are they going to destroy me? I am not so good with books that are too heavy, too war heavy, because it's just a scary world out there right now and people are suffering. And it's really hard to read about it, because just reading the news is, so that's why I'm always like, can I do this? But it was all right, and I gave it 4 stars. I actually made it until the end before I cried. I did not see that part coming, but I don't want to spoil what's happening. But you do follow 2 sisters, and then the Second World War hits France. And one of them is joining the resistance, and the other one is living in this village, and the German soldiers are controlling this village. This sister living in this village has always been the good sister, but she's also a little bit joining the resistance, and a lot of stuff is happening. I don't want to spoil much more, but I did cry, and it is going to be a 4-star, and I thought it would, destroy me more with all of these war things, but I could read it. I just want to put that out there. And I think I want to try more from Kristin Hannah. I just don't know when. I don't want to read her books back to back. I need something else in between. But yeah, it was all right. It wasn't a 5-star. I have heard a lot of people say that this book is a 5-star for them. But yeah, it was all right. More than all right. It was a 4-star. Then I am in the middle of a literary fiction satire book-ish. It's called Yesteryear by... Her name is Caro Claire Burke. Yes. And in this one, you follow Natalie. And Natalie is a tradwife influencer. And Natalie is, she's really horrible. But I will say there is so many layers to this book. I am only halfway through, but I'm like, how is this going to end? Have you read Yellowface? Yellow? I don't know why I always say yellow. Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. That book had so many layers to it as well. If you know what I mean, then you know. This one, I think that's really done so well in this book. The double standards is all over the place. A lot of them from Natalie because she's the main character, but also from a lot of different kinds of people. Tradwifing is a thing in the US, and being an influencer, tradwife influencer. And Natalie is that, but the thing is, she is promoting this lifestyle, having a lot of kids, making it all from scratch. She has this farm with her husband. The thing is, she hates her kids. She has 2 nannies to take care of them. She is only making Instagram stories with her kids. That's what they are useful for. She hates her husband, but online she's like, oh my God, darling, come give mommy a little kiss. But she really hates him. And the thing is, Natalie is so smart. And that is what so many people can't wrap their head around. You are such a smart woman. Why are you promoting women to not use their brains and always be inferior of their husbands? Always be their husband's servant, Why are you promoting that? That is so hard to understand. And also, she's not living that life herself. So why is she doing it? I think Natalie, she doesn't have a lot of empathy. She really just hates people. That's the thing. Her husband, he's dumb, and she knows that. And she's like, I can use him. I just have to be smart about it, and then I get my way. Then something is happening, and Natalie gets to experience the real tradwife life. I kind of wish that this book were making this more of a horror book when Natalie is going to have this experience. I don't want to spoil much more of the plot than that, but this book could definitely also be a horror book. But it's also fine with this satire touch to it. But it could definitely also be horror. Tradwifing is not like a big thing in Europe. And I think as a Danish person, it's quite hard to understand conservative people, religious people, because it's just not that much of a thing in Denmark. This book also touches the manosphere. And of course, I have heard rumors about these kind of red pill guys. They are scary. This book is also criticizing the non-conservative, the non-Christian people, because they are also in this book like, oh, I don't want to have anything to do with you. Instead of being a little bit more curious and being like, okay, why do you think this way? Could we just not be civil to each other and not hate each other and stuff like that? And I think that conversation is also important, but I don't know. So yeah, that was the book about tradwife thing. Then let's move on to the romance books. And the first one is Caught Up by Liz Tomforde. And this book is the 3rd book in the Windy City series. Overall, I want to rate these books 4 stars. And I have decided not to continue the series for now. There are 6 books in the series, and I just think they are way too long. I think the audiobooks are like 16 hours long or something like that, and they could be 8 hours long instead. Some of these spicy scenes are more than an hour long, and that is pretty long. I was just finding myself tuning out in these parts because, okay. I can read spice, but not that much spice. Anyways, this is a sports romance series, and in Caught Up, you do follow this basketball player who is falling in love with his nanny. And there's a little age gap there, 10 years, I think. I'm not like the biggest fan of age gap, I will say, but okay, 10 years, I guess. The whole nanny part, the romance was good. A lot of people are loving this series, and I thought it was going to be a 5-star series, but it's only going to be a 4-star. It's just too much. And there's a lot of not well done communication, if you know what I mean. So some of the issues in these books could have been handled in one page instead of like 200 pages about that issue. So no. Okay, 4 stars for that series. Then I have The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. And in this book, you follow Isabel. I have not seen the TV show, by the way, but I have heard great things about that TV show. Anyways, you follow Isabel, and Isabel goes each year to this summer vacation house with her mom and her brother, and her mother's best friend and her 2 boys. And Isabel has had a crush on one of these boys for so long, and now she's becoming a teenager. And maybe the boys there are starting to notice her a little bit more, and it's a bit back and forth with these 2 boys. I think the first book was good. I really liked the summer vibes, the summer vacation house vibes. That was good. The last 2 books in this series was awful. All of the characters were just insufferable. It was a bit too much. They all made horrible choices, and the direction the 3rd book took was just really not my thing. When you finally get to the point where she's ending up with one of the boys, that whole part felt so flat, and it was over so quickly, and yeah, that really felt flat for me. So maybe the TV show is a little bit better. So I think overall this series is only going to be a 3-star for me. So because I love Fourth Wing so much by Rebecca Yarros, and while I am anxiously waiting for the 4th book in the Empyrean series, I thought I wanted to try a romance book from Rebecca Yarros because she has done quite a few of them as well. And I tried in the Likely event, and that was actually pretty good. So I think it's going to be a 4-star. In this one, you do follow Izzy and Nate, and they meet when they are going on this plane, and they're sitting next to each other. But then this plane crashes, and they, somehow survive. And then randomly, a few years later, they meet again, and their romance is starting. And Nate is in the military, so the timing is really bad. So this book is also a little bit war heavy, and you follow when the US is pulling out the military from Afghanistan, and that was not so good for Afghanistan. You do follow when Taliban is taking over, and they're both in Afghanistan. Just a little trigger warning there. If you're not into war again, then this book has that element as well. But I really did like the romance in this book. It was pretty good. So yeah, I think Rebecca Yarros is just really good with her romance books. There is spice in this one as well, just not as much as the Windy City series. There's no spice in the Summer I Turned Pretty. That is more of a YA series. But yeah, this has a better amount of spice. Okay, let's move on to some romantasy. And the first one I listened to as audiobooks, and that is the Crown of Nyaxia series. Sorry, I don't know. I feel like the sweat is like coming down, but I hope I look fine. Anyways, the first book is called The Serpent and the Wings of Night. That is a really long title. Anyways, this series overall consists of 3 duologies, and I read the first one, Crown of Nyaxia. And I decided that I do not want to continue the rest of the series. I just wasn't blown away, I guess. But okay, I am getting ahead of myself. I had heard that this series really had Hunger Games vibes, and I was a little bit disappointed there. You follow Aurea, and Aurea is a human living in this world where vampires and humans are living together and the humans are prey. So not the best world for humans. But Aurea is adopted by the vampire king. Anyways, there's this contest that you can enter voluntarily. Aurea's adoptive vampire king father wants her to attend this contest because then the gods will grant her some powers if she wins. And then Ryan is also entering this contest. He's a vampire, and like I said, Aurea is a human, and they team up. I don't want to spoil much more about the plot, but this contest just wasn't really it. You know, in the Hunger Games, you're just on your tippy toes the entire time. You're like, what is going to happen? What is around that corner? What does that mean? How is this game set up? You know, there's so many thoughts behind this. In this one, it was just like, okay, there's a monster. Take it out. That's it. And then they go back. And then a few weeks later, it's like, okay, there's another monster. Okay, like, it wasn't interesting like that. And I was so disappointed. But I think overall, the series is going to be a 4-star. I just want to be blown away by my romantasy series. I don't want them to just be a 4-star, okay? And I had higher hopes for this series because I heard that the romance should be really, really good. Great Hunger Games vibes, and it just all felt a little bit flat for me. So, a 4-star. So let's move on to the good stuff. Okay, I know I have talked about this a lot lately. I feel like it's taking me a little while. Alchemised. I am at page 755. So I started this in May, and I borrowed and I borrowed from the library. Then I had to give it back shortly after because it is so popular. And my daughter had a major surgery at that time, so I decided to buy the book instead. It is so good. This is definitely going to be a 5-star, even though I'm not finished with it yet. This is horror, fantasy, romantasy. In this one, you follow Marino, and it's a little bit hard to explain the plot without spoiling, actually, but I can start with the beginning. She is finding herself in this tank, and every 3 hours she's getting like a electrical shock impulse through her body so that she can stay alive in this tank, because that's what the evil people are doing here. And then one day they take her out and they're like, oh, who are you? They have a lot of people in tanks to experiment on. And then they find out that she's a Vivimancer. And that is someone with some special powers. And they're like, why are you in there? What is going on? And then they are taking a look inside of her brain. And they are like, okay, somebody did something to your brain because you have a wall around something. And we cannot penetrate that. We cannot see what it is that you are trying to hide in that little brain of yours. And then she gets sent out to this king guy who might be able to see what is going on. I don't want to spoil much more. But the back says, what is it you think you are protecting in that brain of yours? The war is over, Holdfast is dead, the internal flame extinguished. There's no one left for you to save. Or is there? It's just so good. The romance in here is also really, really good. This started as a fan spin-off of Hermione and Draco Malfoy, mixed with The Handmaid's Tale. And it got so popular that SenLinYu wrote a book. And I can see some similarities, like, oh, okay, I guess this character is that character from Harry Potter. And yeah, but it's so good. Dark, but good. Like 5 stars. And while I was waiting for Alchemized, I got a little bit further into Twisted Crowns, which is the second book in the Shepherd King series. This is the first book, One Dark Window. And the romance in here is really, really fast. the romance in here is the best slow burn. So, I'm sorry about my bookmark. I don't like it when the romance is that fast. It's still good, but I think overall it's only going to be a 4-star. This world is really unique. You have these cards with magical powers, and then you have this mist that's lurking in this kingdom, and the mist can make you sick if you go into it. And if somebody assembles all of the cards, you can remove the mist. So that is the mission for the king and also other people to try to assemble all of the cards. So there's a little bit of a fight to get the right cards. And then Elspeth is the main character. And she has a monster living inside of her because she touched one of these cards when she was a child, her uncle's card. And then she has this monster living inside of her. I don't want to say much more about the plot. Sorry, I'm sweating so much. But the book is very lyrical, so if you like a book with beautiful writing, this definitely has that. And the world is really unique and good. The romance is just really, really fast, and I wouldn't read this for the romance, I think. Okay, so that was all of the books that I read in May and June. And I hope that you enjoyed this video, and hopefully we will get some thunder and rain here soon. Okay, you take care. I will see you.